This video won't have any ad interruptions or sponsors, out of respect for your time and my principles. If you find value in the video and would like to make a contribution to our channel, there's a link in the description for you to do that.
We really appreciate everyone who's contributed so far. You guys are the reason we're making these videos.
That's right. This Honda CBR600 hasn't ran in 10 years, and aside from the past month that I've owned it, has been sitting outside in the elements. The previous owner had parked it because the starter button had quit working, and in our last video, we tried to diagnose and repair that problem. By the end of the video, we successfully spun the engine with the electric starter by pressing the button, but only one time. After that, it quit working again. I thought the problem was likely an internal malfunction with the starter motor.
Me too.
That's because you're sharp.
Thank you.
And I had planned for this video to be all about taking it apart and repairing it. But I accidentally fixed it when I was preparing for this video. Took me by surprise. And the problem was so unlikely that I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't have experienced it. There's nothing wrong with this starter motor, and there was good power coming through the wire connected to it. But a perfect combination of corrosion and a very specific wire connection prevented it from working. Factor 1, 10 years of this motorcycle sitting out in the weather created the right conditions for enough corrosion to form between this nut and the motor terminal to block the flow of electricity between the two.
That sounds like a more recent development, though. I don't think that was the original problem.
It's possible, but I still feel silly even talking about it because it sounds impossible. But so does every creation story I've ever heard.
Oh.
And here I am talking about it. Anyhow, without continuity between the nut and the bolt, if the power wire was positioned just perfectly with an air gap between it and the positive terminal, the motor wouldn't spin.
Seems unlikely.
And you may be asking yourself, what about the nut that goes on top of here and isn't corroded? That is factor number 2. I pulled out the positive wire for the starter for demonstration purposes here. I think it looks a little bit like a little baby plant growing up out of there.
Yeah?
A little wire plant. I'd call that a zapling.
Oh,
Here's how the starter was connected to the motorcycle when I got it. The power wire sat directly on top of the lower nut, but for some reason, somebody installed a fiber washer between the power wire and the top nut, preventing the upwardly flow of electricity. I think that's fantastic. Unfortunately, when I removed the starter from the motorcycle, because I wanted to show you guys this miracle of electrical isolation, I must have accidentally turned the nut just enough for it to regain a connection to the inner terminal, because now the motor works regardless of where I apply power. I brought out my trusty old-fashioned battery charger to bench test this because it gives me power unconditionally.
Oh.
Unlike these new safety style chargers. Come on over here and see the safety style charger that thinks it's smarter than I am. It only dispenses power when it sees fit.
Oh, look at the sad face.
It does have some nice features. It lets me know if the battery says a naughty word while it's charging. Also a good reminder not to hit people. I'll reinstall this on the motorcycle and I bet it'll work. While I'm doing that, here's a video clip of me testing this when it was still on the motorcycle and getting confused about why there wasn't power at the top of the terminal, but there was down at the nut. To show you that I'm not crazy.
About this.
Hit the starter. Go ahead. Again. I saw a flash. One more. Strange. Go ahead. Something funny going on here.
Do you know what you're doing?
You're always there with the hard questions, aren't you?
I am. But you didn't.
I figured it out. Eventually.
You did. I'll give you a gold star.
The starter is back on the motorcycle. I reconnected it without the fiber washer because this is unnecessary. But I will keep it as a reminder to never assume anything, even that electricity can flow from a nut onto the bolt it's screwed onto. This is ready to be tested, but before I do that, there's something else I need to investigate. Just thinking about the corrosion that we saw inside of the solenoid.
Nice.
Thank you. And even between two fasteners makes me really nervous about the chemistry that might be happening inside of the cooling system. And I think it would be a bad idea to turn this engine over and circulate whatever is inside of here without knowing what it is. So I'll take off this lower radiator hose and see if clean water and antifreeze come out or chunks of aluminum oxide.
What's your prediction?
Well, based on the drips, I think, that is the second most beautiful thing I've seen today. Have I mentioned that I love you?
I love you.
So I'll let that drain for a minute while I count my blessings. All right, it looks like this is finished draining, so I'll reconnect the tube and fill it back up with coolant. I thought I might need to get a new clamp because this one came apart when I was removing it, but luckily I was able to put it back together.
That was a great story.
So you don't even need to worry about that.
Okay.
I'm feeling really optimistic about this motorcycle right now. The engine spins. I think the starter is going to work. The antifreeze looked perfect. I checked the oil just a minute ago, and it was fine. What are the odds that I ever take this for a ride?
Getting better?
Or that he ever takes it for a ride? We don't know. And that's what makes it exciting. Uncertainty could be what makes life worth living. It's a journey, and hopefully a journey to greatness.
Oh.
All right. Do you want to see if you have the magic touch this time? Oh! That works. The next thing I want to do is check for spark. I feel like we have some good luck going in our favor right now. The spark plugs are a little bit difficult to access, so I think the easiest way to do this is just fog the carburetors with a little bit of gasoline, hit that starter button, and see if it answers back. Go ahead. No more. Well, we can't have it all. I was hoping we could have it all. I have a spark plug over here on the cart. It should be easy enough to pop off this outboard cap put the spark plug in here and check for spark. Maybe it didn't run just because the carburetors are stuck shut and wouldn't let enough air in there to fire up. Tell me when you've got a lock on that.
I've got a lock. I don't see spark.
Me neither. So where do we go from here?
Lunch?
I studied my CBR600 wiring diagram and figured out the first step I want to take to diagnose our no spark condition. The fact that the engine didn't run when I put gas directly into the carburetors and there's no spark down here makes me believe it's not firing on any of the cylinders. So I've decided to test the 12-volt positive power supply to the ignition coils. I think it's a good circuit to test because if it's not energized, none of the spark plugs will spark, and it's powered by the engine kill switch, which has been out in the rain for a decade and might be malfunctioning. The easiest place I've found to access the wire is down here at the left side ignition coil. It's this black and white one.
That's hard to see.
Better?
Yeah.
All right. To test it, I'll connect the negative clip of my light to a chassis ground, and there should be power down here as long as the kill switch and ignition are on. Let's see if there is. No.
We'll have to take your word for it. I can't see where you're poking your thing.
Well, just trust me.
Okay.
No power at that terminal. That's a clue, sweetheart.
That is.
We're making progress. Here's a wiring diagram of the circuit we're working on. What I'm going to do now is open up the kill switch and see if I can find a problem in here. I think I will because the start button works and it's fed by the same wire as the kill switch. So I know there's power going into this assembly, but it's not being sent out to the ignition coils. Unless I'm wrong. Need to watch out for that. It generally happens when I think I'm right. Looks pretty good so far. It's rare to see shiny metal on this motorcycle. This is the back side of the kill switch, and the black and white wire is the output to those coils. So I'll test for power right here. If there is any, that means we have a break somewhere between the kill switch and the ignition coils. I'll find a ground connection for my light, make sure it works. Key on, kill switch on, and here we go. Ooh, I wasn't expecting that. We have power up at the kill switch, but not at the coil. Oh, wait a minute. This thing's making a fool out of me. We didn't have power here a moment ago. You saw it.
Yeah.
Maybe I wiggled something again. I think I might just be the magic wiggler today.
I don't. Okay.
I'm trying the gas again. Not even going to check for spark directly just because I'm a hopeless romantic that way. Why do I have power there now, but not a minute ago?
Are you sure the engine was on a minute ago?
Switches were all on, I promise. We can check the tape, but I'm sure of it. It's firing. It's not revving up because the carburetors are stuck shut and I can't open it up. It's enough to get me excited though. Just in case you couldn't hear the little hiccups coming out of the exhaust, I'll put this plug back in here so we can see it spark. Tell me when you're ready.
Hold on.
Took you a long time to get over here. It's been hours.
Well, I went to book club.
You do other things besides film spark plugs?
I don't only hold a camera. Go ahead. Oh, she's sparking.
Very strange. I'm happy about it. I just wish I understood why.
She's a coy little beast.
Yeah, I still think the kill switch was the problem. I wonder if I can manipulate it to lose connection without turning it off. That would give some credence to my theory. Oh, did you see that?
Yeah, it's a little flicker.
Wait a minute. There. The switch is on, but the light is dark. Ha ha! That's satisfying. I imagine if I spray some contact cleaner up underneath of these terminals and work the switch back and forth, it'll be reliable. This is where we're going to end the video. The next time we work on this motorcycle, we'll venture into the fuel system. I'm scared of the disaster that might await inside of this tank, and the carburetors might not be any better. But I feel good about this project because these are the only two things that stand in the way of the old CBR600 roaring back to life. I wonder how it sounds. Lovely.
You're a goof.
Thanks for watching.